Hello everyone, I'm Dan Elzer, your co-host of Zap TV. Welcome to January's show. Today, I'm seeing him in a lab coat. Our theme is Mythbusters. So we're gonna be busting some myths here. Before I welcome my co-host out on stage with me, I wanna talk to you about how the system works. If you haven't been to a Zap TV show before, we're coming to you in a live broadcast so you can talk to us and send questions and comments in real time. So if you get your phone out, open up your text app, put in 321-300-7759. 321-300-7759. Get that locked in there right now. If you want to throw out a shout out to us from where you are and who's with you, that would be awesome. But don't hesitate. If you got a question, throw it in. If we don't answer it during the show, we have a Q&A at the end that we will address the questions. So now, without any further delay, I want to welcome my co-host and Zap expert, Wayne Weaver.
I'm ready.
What are you doing, man?
Aren't we going to blow some stuff up?
Well, no.
Like, seriously, I got
Give
fire,
me this.
I got... No.
Yeah. No. We're not blowing stuff up.
Oh, I thought we were going to...
Oh, man.
We were busting some stuff.
No, we're busting myths on Zap.
Oh, all right.
Burn stuff up. Yeah, that's all we need is to blow stuff up.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway.
I was looking forward to that.
I know. I can see. You had your goggles and everything ready to go. We got Mythbusters. It's going to be fun today. Have a little bit of fun. Yeah. So we're going to bust. We got 3 specific myths that we hear about out there that you're going to attack. But before we do that, I love it. You have a couple really cool updates that some people have been waiting for that are out and operational. So why don't you share that with the group?
So just a couple things real quick. We actually have the ability now to CC on listing alerts. So husband and wife, just 2 people in general can both get the same listing alert instead of having to set them up separate or whatever. So I love that. We can also blind copy ourselves. So as the agent, I can get a copy of anything that Dan's getting as a listing alert. So love that. Just going to quick show you how easy it is to either set it up or determine if someone is on it. So I'll go live.
So that's going to give you real-time knowledge of when they're getting an update on something.
Absolutely. Awesome. Same email they get, so you can kind of pay attention to if it's something that they really love. Then you could reach out to them special and go, hey, make sure you check that email. There's something you really should see on it.
Awesome.
So if I go live in the system, I'm going to show you that if I just click on one of my contacts, so I'm going to click on Jane as as the person that's set up on a listing alert. And just to determine if, let's say, I want to add Jane's husband, I want to add his email. So I'm just going to click that pencil, and I can actually add a second email address. So let's call him Dan.
Sounds good.
We'll just say that's his email. So we added it. So now I have 2 emails under this person that... I'm not sure how that saved the first time, but two emails under this person. So now I want both of those emails to get this listing alert. So if I just scroll down the page, and I'm just in this, I'm just in Jane's profile, you will see that I have a listing alert. So Jane is set up on a new listing alert. It is being sent to her email address and only her email address. I can actually click this pencil on the right-hand side. And once I click that pencil, it's like, who do you want to, this to be CC'd to? And if I just click Dan and add it, you will actually see that Dan will get a CC email. So, and it's so easy that we can actually, if I set this, if I actually set up a listing alert, if I set up a listing alert, there is a little tab down here for me to be blind copied. So absolutely love it that we can not only send it to 2 people, I can send it to 10 people if I wanted to, the same listing alert. And then I get CC'd on every copy of that. So I love that piece. It's something the agents we've been asking for a long time, so that we know exactly what our folks are getting. Don't have to be CCU, blind copy yourself, but you can.
Awesome.
So
that's awesome.
Yep. And then just real quick, just want to show you the search page. So how we set up a listing alert, how our client or contact sees how they set up their own listing alert. We changed that page, actually made it more user-friendly. So if I go live and just show you, if I pull Jane and I just sign in as contact, oh, I apologize. It won't let me do that for some reason. If it just check out that, I'm not sure why it's doing it, but check out that sign in as contact and just notice we made the page much more friendlier. The words are all the same size. In the copy, the search pieces are so much easier to find, because we can set up a listing alert for our folks, but our clients can set up, our contacts, anybody in our system can set up a listing alert on their own. So we just made that page a lot friendlier for anybody that's doing a search.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so good stuff there.
Hey, shout out to Gary Jordan in Bangor, Maine.
Oh,
welcome,
Bangor,
Jerry.
Maine.
And then we
Nice.
got somebody try to call instead of text.
Oh.
So that happens every once in a while.
Yeah.
Make sure you text us. I can't hear you if you call in, but if you'll text us, we'll get that. So.
Yep. So a couple updates, good stuff. I'll mention a couple other things in the mailbag just so we know a couple other things that are happening.
Awesome. Okay, folks, what we want to do is we want to attack myths today. There are some myths running around out there about the system, about how the system is utilized, and it's actually, if we're honest, it's costing time and money of people by following those myths or believing in those myths.
Yes.
So today we want to attack those. As we go through those, get your phone ready, 321-300-7759. Reach out to us, ask questions. If you ask a question that is not really directly related to where we are, don't worry, I'm going to get to it in the mailbag. So don't hesitate to ask the question. I'll just keep it, and then at the end of the show when we do the mailbag, we'll have all the questions that we'll be able to come back and talk to you about. So I want to attack the first myth. Okay, myth number one that we're going to deal with today is Zap leads are horrible. Now,
Yeah.
we hear this.
Yes.
And you hear it across all agents have this feeling that, and not just Zap, but that leads are horrible. So I want to start by asking this question of you. How did it get started that Zap leads are horrible?
Yeah, we're actually receiving more leads now than we ever have.
Okay.
So like there's more of them coming in, and to be honest, as an agent, I just expect whether I get one from the company, a broker, I answer the phone, or someone reaches out to me and says, hey, can you send me this listing alert, or this, set me up on a listing alert, or just send me a MLS page for this listing. We really just expect that those folks are gonna buy tomorrow. Like we're going to be looking at houses tomorrow. Or we're going to list that house tomorrow. So in reality, it's just kind of what we expect, that if if we get a lead, we just expect it to, transform without a doubt. We know it doesn't happen, or it doesn't happen all the time, but we expect it.
Right.
And then it's just a matter of what happens after that point.
So what you're saying, if I'm understanding you correctly, is that as agents, we are urgent. We expect if a lead comes to us that they're ready, willing, and able. When they don't respond, when they go silent on us, when they don't have the urgency we expect them to have, we label it bad. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, this has happened for years, folks. Been in the business 30 years. This has happened for 30 years. Whether it was old school leads getting handed to you or if it's electronic leads coming to you. If that person is not ready to take action, we start to say, these are bad leads. And then sadly, I think what drove this myth is it only takes a couple of those to happen, and then everything that comes through the system is bad.
Yeah, all of them are bad.
It's horrible.
Just majority, and I get lucky every once in a while. It's just it's just the way it is.
But if I take that position and I go, well, if that one was bad, they're all bad, I'm really losing out. And this is where the myth is important to bust.
Yes.
Because I'm losing out on that. Now, you had shared some statistics from NAR that are solid statistics on the actual process of people buying real estate. These people actually bought a house. They weren't looky-loos. These people started a process, ended it, and I think we have a slide here for it.
Yeah.
And that process was very specific, but it was long.
Yeah, scary for us as agents. So again, our average across the country. I wake up this morning, hey, I want to buy a house. Hey, I want to sell my house. That type of mindset. On average, 16.7 months from that point, till an agent getting a check.
Okay, so 16.7 months, real people went through a process that was tracked and bought a house.
Yes.
Now, if all leads are bad, they could be good leads that are back in this process.
Pre-research.
Yeah, pre-research. So we got online search, we got online research, wanting listing alerts, open houses, and then agent contact happens midway.
Yeah.
Now, by the time it's agent contact, you're starting to be too late to work a lead. Is that a fair
yes.
statement?
Yeah, I can't wait for that point because, if I think, an email once in a while or, some sort of contact once in a while during that process will bring that person back to me, that's the crazy part, to think that's going to happen.
Okay, so go ahead and bring it back to us a second. What I want to first look at, folks, is technique, and that's kind of my wheelhouse.
Yep.
If you approached every single lead that came to you as if they were in the very front of this, meaning they had motivation, reason, and they wanted to take action. If we made the assumption that every lead that we get, whether we get it through the phone, whether we get it text, whether we get it emailed, every single lead is on the front end. Now, the information I'm receiving, sometimes I get a phone number, correct?
Sometimes phone number, sometimes an email, sometimes both.
Okay.
It varies.
So one thing I'm going to do is if it's a phone, and this is critical, if it's a phone, I'm going to call. My position as a real estate professional is you're ready, willing, and able to go. So in that engagement, when I call or leave a message, I received your request, I'll be honored to work with you, to properly represent you. It begins with an appointment for me to discover where you are and what's going on, and I'm going to ask for the appointment. If I get you live, I'm going to ask to meet with you. If you're local, if you're absentee and you're coming to town, I'm going to be respectful and ask for an appointment that we could get on maybe a Skype or something so we can have a more personal, intimate conversation. If it's email driven, same thing. I'm going to respond to that email with, be thrilled to work with you, be an honor to represent you properly. I'm a professional real estate agent. It begins with a conversation so I can understand your needs. What's a phone number and a time that you would be available for us to have a short phone meeting? Now, why do I do that? Because we know this is true. And we know some of the leads that come through, because when agents say this is bad and try to get rid of them, they're tracked, and some of them turn around and buy a house.
Yes.
So if I can get you to use technique every time, I'm going to treat everyone as if they're ready, and then they resist. Lights, radio silence, not respond, not call back.
That's where the issue comes in. 3 emails, I call them 3 times, I got nothing, bad lead.
Okay, so now let's talk about proper utilization of Zap and how that can fix that problem. So what are some things that Zap can do that will cause us not to be overburdened, but also be able to watch that process so we don't lose out and find out later someone we talked to or met bought a house 8 months later?
Yeah, so first thing I'm going to do is always share and make sure they have my mobile app and or website. So, I'm just going to do the, just every single email I send or I call, I'm like, hey, I have a mobile app. Here it is. Here's the link. So, just knowing that, if they just even open the email but no response, then at least I know they're, like I have a mobile app. If you're going to look for houses and you're just not ready to talk to me, at least do it on my mobile app or my website. So that's kind of the bonus. The second piece comes in with the follow-up plans. So if if you go quiet, I need something to sort of, show them that, I can't, keep emailing you. I'm not going to remember to, or I get frustrated. So the follow-up plan kind of keys in where, I'm going to let the system start doing its job. So it, it goes off my radar a little bit. And then I'm just going to finish with analyzing the Zap score.
So, again, we've talked about this in earlier shows. If I would take the time to make sure I set it up properly, so I put some effort in. I'm set up. I understand my plans. So this lead comes. I treat it as if it's active, ready to go. It's not. It's in my Zap. I'm going to work hard to make sure that they get my app, that they've got my website, and put them on a plan that is a long-term plan.
Yep.
That will have some stopgaps, if you will, for me to come back and do what you just said. I got to track their score.
Yeah.
I got to look at their activities. And those activities, folks, if you look at this, will show you where they are in that process. And all of a sudden, again, you're not using your human resource other than a little bit of administrative time once a day on a business day to check, sort Zap scores, and look at what you need to do.
Yeah, I mean, let the system take over and take those leads that, you can call them whatever they want when they go quiet 3 months, but instead of them showing up in somebody else's checkbook,
yes,
whether it's next month or 12 months, that's where the system takes over and allows us to hang on to all those folks. They literally will go off my radar until something happens, until I monitor them that something's changed, and then I know it's time to reach back out to them. So that's the key.
And he's hitting on the head. We all know time is valuable, and we get very busy, we get very urgent and busy.
Yeah.
But if we'll just pause for a moment to get this right, it is off your radar.
Yeah.
Because with a lead that's not responding, and you put them on like a year plan, you might have to get active once every 3 months.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's not killing you, folks. But just think, if you get back on there, 16.1?
16.7.
16.7. 3 months goes by, you check, and all of a sudden they opened your app, the score went up. What does that tell you? Someone you said was a bad lead, all of a sudden, ooh, they've opened the app. Maybe I make a personal contact. Knowing they opened the app, they might have questions. I might be able to land that appointment and get back into technique to do what I do best.
That's exactly the key.
So, I'm getting your questions, guys. Like I said, some of them I'm going to spool for the end of the show, so we will get to those. So, myth number 1, Zap leads are horrible. I got to say that's busted, man.
Yeah, I mean, we have to let the system help us through those leads without getting frustrated, so that we can close more deals.
So you agree?
So yeah, busted.
Awesome. Now, that being busted, what we have to figure is not allowing emotion to get involved where we stop doing the right things.
Correct.
Cool. Okay. So let's look at myth 2. In myth 2, we have, I don't want to add my personal leads. So, I don't want to add my personal leads. Let me start this way. I know I've heard this too, and that's why my brain's going,
Yeah.
Start with the leads. What personal leads do people have fears or challenges wanting to put in?
Yeah, so for me as an agent, that is anybody that I would just expect to use me as a real estate agent today. Past clients, anybody I'm currently working with, that didn't come in the system automatically. My whole sphere, friends, family, parents I know from, my kids' friends, past coworkers, anybody. So anybody that I think would use me as a real estate agent today is what I would consider sort of my personal, leads, sphere, that type of.
Okay, so we're talking that close acquaintance to family member that we have.
Absolutely.
Okay, so how did this myth get going? What's driving this second myth?
Well, in reality, there's 2 pieces to it. So the first one is, when I do receive a lead from the company and the broker, I have to update that. So, the broker has rules. He might have rules where I got to update it. So I'm constantly, I could be, getting those emails that say, hey, you got to update your leads. Let me know what's happening with it. So I fear.
So that's compliance.
Yeah. Like, you have to stay compliant, so you stay green to get more leads. So I fear as an agent, if I brought in 500 people, I don't have time to have to email them on a regular basis to stay compliant with them.
Okay.
So that's really the number 1 fear.
Someone just asked about audio problems. That would be, refresh if you're having it. That would be coming from your bandwidth. So just wanted to answer
sometimes
that.
just closing it and restarting it, sometimes will trigger that.
So the compliance issue is a burden thing.
Yes.
So I feel burdened, and if I put all these, my personal leads in there, I already know them, I know I'm going to get business with them, I don't really need to do this, and I don't want to have to follow up with them. So that's part one of the myth. So the question I got to ask my expert is that true? Does that myth hold true? Am I going to burden myself by putting my own leads in there?
No. No. If I put my 500 people from the MLS in there that I've had for over the years, or my Gmail contacts, those are very clearly what we consider agent-generated leads. So it'll very clearly label it as an agent lead. And you will never have to update or stay compliant with any of the leads that are agent leads.
Okay.
So
to make sure I get it. So an agent-driven lead, I don't have to worry about staying compliant with because I decide my compliance, basically.
I should, but it's on my terms. Not on basically the company's rules for the leads that I get from them.
So I'd be making a mistake to not get a plan in place, a follow-up plan that's tasking me on a case. That would be wrong to have them in there, because then I find out my friend buys a house from somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
But any burden I'm going to have, it's not going to be the company hitting me going, how come you're not?
Yeah, I won't get any emails saying update this lead.
Right,
update
and I'm not
this
going to
lead.
jeopardize my next lead because I'm not being compliant.
Nope.
Okay.
So I can enter all of my people, never have to update them compliance-wise.
Okay, so we know that one's not really real.
Yep.
You said two reasons. What's your second reason?
So the second one is we often worry, like, in the past, they've been put on, what I would consider a silly, email campaign, a drip campaign. So, fear. I don't need my past clients. I don't need my friends getting an email from me every month, let's say, saying, hey, are you ready to buy? It's like, no,
Right.
So I'm fearful if I bring my 500 people in, which I know now I don't have to be compliant with, but what if they're just getting emails sent from the system saying things that are not relevant to our relationship at that time?
Oh, I got you. So you're saying you're my friend, and although you're kind of an acquaintance, but we become friends through the sale, you're in my Zap, and you're saying that agents are hesitant because why put you in there? One, I got a relation. Two, I don't want you getting spammed. I don't want you getting silly emails that you're going to come up to me and go, Dan, what are you doing? Why are you sending?
Get sick of it, just delete automatically, because the fact is when I send one, I want them to open it. So I don't want them to get 10 and then me to send something I really need them to open and then just go delete, because it's like, well, the other 10 wasted my time enough.
Okay, so if that's driving that myth, we got burden and we got silly communication, basically. Part two of the problem, we can control that communication, correct?
So I decide, if they're on a follow do or which follow-up plan. I don't have to, assign one to them. I don't have to. I personally, do have everybody in my system. Their goal is to be on some sort of follow-up plan. So my past clients are on a follow-up plan that I designed that's longer term. But my friends, personally, they're on a follow-up plan like 2 emails a year. And it's really just like, hey, how's everything going? I sell real estate. If you're bored and just want to look at houses sometime, here's my mobile app. Just very, very nonchalant, not pressing, not are you going to buy a house, not anything like that.
Okay.
But again, I determine that.
So in that vein, then, you're determining that. Now, when we, in earlier shows, we've looked at building those plans.
Yep.
And I remember you can choose between 3 different types of touch points, right?
Correct.
And one is the
automated email, which gets sent out automatically.
And that would have the fear that this is the silly stuff.
Yep. And then there's 2 personal, like a personal email and a phone call, which are 2 personal touches.
Okay, so let's break that down. If the second one, if you're going, I don't want my friends to feel I'm being the salesperson thing.
Yeah.
You put them on an automated email that has 2 emails a year. That's not going to feel weird.
Yeah.
But why not put once a quarter a personal touch? Because the system will tell me, hey, it's time to touch Wayne, right?
Yep.
And it will either be a personal email or a phone call. And folks, if these people are that close to you, you shouldn't be ignoring having a conversation.
Nope.
Now, if I ran into Wayne at the ball game and Zap pops up and says, hey, it's time for a personal touch with Wayne. And I know last week I was just talking to him. I can forego that personal touch.
Yeah, I can just put a message, hey, saw Wayne
at the ball game.
You know, touch base with him. Yeah, so many things that we can, I can get a personal touch that says phone call, and it's Dan, and I can go, hey, Dan, I can send a text. Hey, Dan, because that's how we communicate. Hey, Dan, how's it going? The idea is that he's going to go, oh, Wayne, oh, he sells real, oh, he's a real estate agent, whatever. It's just the idea is that, you need to be in front of these people, but it all comes back to, I determine what that is. I could do nothing, but, if I do something, I determine what it is.
Okay, so it's not going to burden them unless they put it on themselves.
Yep.
They can manage them themselves to not get silly emails or not get silly stuff, but still monitor their activity, see if they take the app, watch their score, and not have that horrible day where you run into a close acquaintance and they give you that shocked look where they go, oh God, and you're like, what? And they go, I just bought something. I forgot. That's a horrible feeling, and if you've been in the business long enough, it's happened to you. Yeah. So if I'm ready to throw this myth out as an agent and I want to get my leads in there, what's the best way to get them in?
It's just getting them in there. So I'll just go live and just show you real quick how easy it is to add a contact. So obviously we can add it individually, or we can add we do have a bulk import option now right into Zap. So I can just grab, so I'll go live, buddy. So if I just hit this plus add in the upper right hand corner, and you'll see new contact is the first option, and there are my two options. I can add my individual contact. I'm working with 5 people right now. I can just make sure they're in my system. If they did not come in automatically, I can make sure they're in my system. The fact is that when I import contacts, the bottom option, this is where I can grab everybody in my MLS. I can make sure all my past clients are in there. I can grab everybody from my Gmail account. Just wherever I have a body, again, that I think should be my contact, then I can grab them and add them one way or the other. So I'm going to grab a CSV file, probably have to, change the fields around a little bit to make it fit. But the fact is that's how easy I can import. And then I'm going to bring in, 100 people from the MLS. I'm going to actually just go down one by one and go, just kind of analyze who they are. And for me, that's 100 people that I think I had a relationship with or thought, they'll get a hold of me. But in reality, kind of had to just rely on them. Unless I ran into them at some point, or whatever. But, that now I have more control of them. First of all, they're in my database. So they're always there. I can always look at them at any point. But of course, I can start, a follow-up plan. I can monitor if they open emails, if they happen to start looking for houses, analyze Zap scores.
Cool. Okay, so let's summarize on that one. If I put all my leads in there, if I follow them correctly, we know that there's a gain. We track agents. There's a gain of 10% plus in transactions.
Correct.
So this myth that I don't want to put my personal leads in there is kind of more of an emotional thing, and it is truly a myth. So I'm going to call it's busted.
Busted.
Definitely.
Yeah, that one is busted for sure.
So we've got another busted myth. So one, we got to, from myth 1, not all leads are bad. They're just not worked. 2, personal people need to be in there if we're going to stay on top of things and know what's going on with our sphere and our circle of influence.
Correct.
So let's get to the third one. And the third one is kind of interesting because it's not really bad. I give credit to the third one because people are doing something, but they're not doing it complete, right?
Yeah.
So the third myth is auto email plans will increase my business. So this myth is saying if I put everybody in there, throw them on an auto system, be passive, and sit back and wait, life's going to happen. How did this myth come about?
So, I'm going to think back as to when I became, when I started, to be an agent, was an agent for years and years, 8 years. I remember over and over hearing, I was new. So, I get 10 people, and then I get 20 or 30 or, contacts or whatever. And I just remember going, how do I keep track of all these people? Didn't have a Zap at that point. Wish I did.
Yep.
Didn't. But, so everyone was just constantly saying, just put them on a drip campaign. Even if they don't open the email, they're going to see your name in their inbox and they're going to remember you. So, I mean, I can't tell you how many people just said, I mean, we may
Be passive.
Yeah, just, and then and I'm like, great, I mean, I'm going to deal with who I
So if just send an email, sit back, made us
yeah.
rich, we'd have a lot of rich real estate.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's really where I remember it from, is just the fact that, just taught that.
Now it's not bad. The fact that the people that fall into this myth are at least doing something. They're getting people into Zap, they're getting plans set up, but then they're just letting it sit. So I want to relate this to old school. When I got in the business in the 80s, 30 years in this business, geographical farming, that was the thing.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like what we do now through Zap, but with algorithms and technology.
Yep.
But here was the thing. They would tell you, hey, you want to grab your 400, 500 people, and you want to mail them a piece of information every month. And then the second part of the success was go knock on the door and meet everybody and find a way to talk to them 3-4 times a year. So 95% of real estate agents back then mailed everybody. But very few got out of the car and knocked on the door. Yeah. So what ended up happening was the people that got out and knocked on the door became the top producers. The people that just mailed everybody got that one off every once in a while.
Yeah, got one deal, we're happy.
And this is what will happen here. See, people operate from levels of need. If you ever read Spin Selling from Neil Rackham, he talks about the 4 levels of need. Level 1, they're not going to do anything. They're perfect. They don't need us. 2, they start to have some challenges. 3, they're ready to go, but they don't ask for help. Level 4 is called impulse. Impulse meaning that they'll be impulsive in the way they do things. If we went back to that screen, as people go through those 16.7 months, when they get towards the end, they're in that impulsive level 4. Yeah. So the reason this myth needs to be busted is you could do everything right with Zap, but be passive. I could incubate Wayne, give him information, keep him updated, and then he runs into my competitor, and that's where he buys the house. I waited for the call instead of stayed on top of things to make sure that we could do business. Now, if I stay passive, I follow this myth and stay passive, and I don't use the system right, what are some dangers? What am I missing out on that the system can provide?
Yeah, I mean, kind of along them lines that, I add, all my sphere in there and put them on a follow plan and just sit back and go, my phone will ring when they're all ready. You're just, whether it's automated or not, I still need some personal touches.
Yes.
I need to, if I set a follow-up plan, personally, automated, personal. Automated, personal throughout the life of the plan.
So is that month?
Yeah, month, or if it's 2 months, it's still automated, personal. So, and the fact is that, it's so easy for me to go, the system is so, is geared to help us, but we do need to log in and check things out. So it's so easy for me to go, he's on an automated plan. Like, I still expect that to work. I still expect him to just remember me and call me without me doing any sort of work. That's where we just fall short a little bit by just not, adding a personal touch to an email, to a follow-up plan.
Okay, so just so everyone's clear, when you set up that email or that system, the CRM part of Zap, when it's a personal touch, is going to come to you and say, it's time to touch Wayne.
Yep, it'll give me a heads up. Hey, here are some follow-ups that you need to do, and they are the personal touches in whoever's in a follow-up plan.
So that gives you the opportunity then, because remember, 16.7 months. He could be at month 4.
That's where it. Yeah.
You could be at month 4.
Yeah.
So at month 4, he actually opened your app. He started looking at stuff. And because you got that active thing, you're looking at his score, and it's time to make a personal touch. And maybe you pick up the phone, use a little technique, and because you see he's doing things, his score has gone up. So now you just call and say, hey, just reaching out, Wayne. Want to let you know that I'm still available for you if I can answer any questions. But he's probably going to go, oh, by the way, yes. Because you're proactive, you're not reactive, you're not being passive.
Yeah, I mean that really comes in like when kind of following up with what you said is auto. You can't expect that guy to be total loyal to you if you're not giving him any personal touch, any sort of because that guy is likely getting an email from another agent.
Yeah,
maybe. From a different company. He is gonna swing by an open house, because he's not ready to talk to an agent yet. So, the fact is that auto might be giving him the tools, but he might just walk in at the right time and, run into another agent, wherever that might be, and be in the right frame of mind to just go.
Okay.
We shouldn't wait for that.
Now, Wayne and I had a conversation, and he kind of blew me out of the water on this myth before the show when we were going over things. Because I'm someone who always likes to coach and train agents to utilize their time effectively. Human resource, whenever I as a professional agent am using human resource, I have to get a return on it. And so when we look at the 16.7 months, it takes a long time. I kind of pushed back on him and said, so how long do you want me to do this? Share with them or hit me again with what you hit me with.
Yeah, so, personally, I'm very adamant that someone's going to stay with me until they tell me to not contact them again. But the fact is that when Dan said, how long should I do this? Like, it's not worth, is it worth it to do it 16 to 24 months or even further? And I just simply said,
Ask me.
Yeah, I asked him, I said, how long, what do we expect, agents to do with their past clients?
Yeah, he said, what do you do with the buyer you sold a house to? And we were sitting there, and I said, well, shoot, I'm a listing guy, and I said, well, shoot, when I sell somebody a house, I said I immediately put them into a system. I touch them multiple times a year because I want to be there when they're ready to sell. And then he said, so how long do you do that?
And I simply asked, how long do you do that?
And I said, 5 to 7 years.
Or?
Longer.
Until needed.
Or longer.
So.
And guys, my head exploded. I went, oh my gosh. We have an incredible system here that can do 90% of it for me and tell me when I need to do it. I put 50% of my activities into making sure I was touching those potential sellers, and I was willing to incubate them for years. And here I have something that can do it for me with minimal burden on me. So it was busted in my book, guys. When he said that to me, I was like, oh my God, he's right. And here is a system that will do it for me and tell me when I need to jump in. And by the way, he also shared, and the seller can be in there too.
Yeah.
So I can make sure that
you have to do both. But
Right.
if I'm willing to work a past client, which I need to, they're gold to me. 4, 5 to 7 years, whether it's for a separate referral or like, hey, they're going to list someday, who knows? And I'm not willing to give a buyer that hasn't told me to stop contacting them, 16 months or 24 months. If they're gonna, if they buy, I just assume it'd be with me.
Exactly.
So.
So in summarizing this one, passive. If passive worked, we'd have a lot of rich real estate agents. You have a system that's the best in the business that, when properly used, can get you 80% there. But it still needs that 20% touch.
Yep.
So when I look at this one, auto email is going to make us rich. That's busted.
No, just go personal a little bit. Let the system remind you. Send an email. Let me check his Zap score. Maybe he's still quiet. Okay, you're going to be quiet. I'm going to just let you keep going. But at least you came to the forefront. But let the system do that for you, and it's what it's made to do.
What do you call it?
I'm busting that one. Sorry.
Awesome. So myth 3, busted. Okay, so what I want to do now, folks, is get in the mail call. We had some some questions come in here. First one, this is an easy one for you. How do we add the mobile app icon to our email signature?
Okay, yeah, so very simple. We can actually if we go into our email. So I'll go live real quick since Dan's going to go through some other questions. So I'm going to go live real quick. And if I just, in my upper right-hand corner, go to my account settings page. So upper right-hand corner, click your name. Here is the email signature. And, there's this awesome little link thing right here. So if I just, I'm going to just pretend that I put my app, let's just say waynesapp.com. So that's with a link to my app. If I add my link right there and just highlight it, so that so that's, oh, you know what? I apologize. I'm going to actually do, download my app. So whatever I did, so when I highlight that and just go up to this paper clip, it's a little link. Then I'm actually going to, in this box, just copy and paste my, my link for my app. And once I do that, so that, that's my link and I'm done, that's now clickable. So every single time after that, somebody, and I can type that so it's more attractive, like search on the run or search on the go with my app, something like that. And then real quick, where the link is to your app, is on the My Website page. So if you go on the My Website page by clicking your name, in the your app is right below your picture. There's a mobile app URL, and then that's how I can easily do that. That's easily, you can actually do that in the support if that lost you right there. So if you hit this support button, you'll actually find some help to do that as well. So
Cool.
just want to make sure you guys saw that.
Awesome. Okay, another question. Since Zap is connected to multiple listing services, is there a way that I can set up a showing request to a listing agent through the MLS?
Not yet. Have been conversations to bring in some of those parties that do the MLS, but what we actually do offer is, Dan sends me a list, a showing request. I want to see 123 Main Street. I can easily click on, okay, you want to see 123 Main. I click on it, whether it's on my app or the desktop. It's going to show me, here's 123 Main, here's all the information on it, and here's the listing agent and their contact information. So it's actually, I'm like, well, okay, there. And so I don't have to go to the MLS and go, whose listing is it? So at least it's a step, but it won't, I can't push buttons and have it go to the listing agent, but we're giving you all the information to simply call or email the listing agent, set up the listing alert from that point.
Okay, on listing alerts, can we edit a customer's listing alerts?
We can edit a custom. So if we set up a listing alert for a client in our system, and what I'll do all the time is when I monitor the Zap score, let's say, we will know if we set up one zip code in under 200, we can monitor what they're searching. If they've looked in three zip codes in up to 250, I can actually go in there and change their listing alert to 3 zip codes, change the price up. The only way we can't do it is if they take over and change it themselves. So if we set it up, I can go, and they're just looking, I can go change it. If I set it up, they go in there and they up the price or add a zip code on their own, which is easy for them to do, then they've taken it over and I won't be able to change it.
So you're locked out of it?
Yep. I could add a second one if I wanted to, but that's when they take over, so you're pretty confident to know that they're actually doing their own thing at that point.
Thank you. I was just going to say, all the myths we just talked about,
Yeah,
if they take over and I get locked out because they're managing their listing alert,
you're fine with it at that
pick
point.
up the phone.
Absolutely.
It's time to have that in-person appointment, take them through the process, claim them as yours, and build that loyalty.
Absolutely.
You had a couple announcements you wanted to share.
Yeah, we got a couple minutes. So I just wanted to let you know, if anyone had been trying to, post on Facebook, like your referral link to get people to, to come to you, we had an issue with that for a while. It's actually fixed, so don't be afraid to try that back out. Besides Facebook is can be a huge tool for us, especially nowadays. But so don't be afraid to do that. It did just want to let you know that the team in California is working hard. We're having an issue with the insights. Actually showing up in certain spots. So, the property insights, local insights. So keep doing them. It's kind of knowing you're doing them, but they're working hard to get them back to showing up. So just wanted to make sure everybody, just knew that we know that's an issue and we're working hard to fix it.
And guys, we want you to know, like I said, this whole thing about having Zap TV is to keep you informed, to be transparent. And you were just out in Emeryville. And they care. They want to know. They hear. They know what's going on. And guys, they're working hard. Technology is constantly changing. I feel for them at the speed of light that they have to operate. But letting us know that they're all over that, so we could tell you, so you don't have to worry. That's what we're after here. So, next thing. First, this is being recorded, as all of them. So, within 48 hours, this broadcast will be rendered and up on the same page. So if you want to share it with others, use it again, sales meeting, whatever, you'll be able to come back and watch this event. But understand that if you're watching right now and it's recorded, the phone number doesn't work. We have people that will try to text in questions while they're watching the recording. So I want you to know, once it's a recording, of course, they just don't realize it's a recording, which is kind of cool. Once it's a recording, the text won't work. So I like to say, they want me to say that now at the end. So if you are watching it as a recording, that's why no one responded to you. Next is save the date. Our next Zap TV is going to be February 14th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure that you save that date, invite friends, get everybody together, because again, this system will help you become incredibly successful. So with that, Wayne, thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
For my co-host Wayne, I'm Dan Elzer with Zap TV, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.